You might remember the much lauded release of the Bellroy Flip Case, their new hard case wallet. It might have been a bestseller initially, but not everyone loved it. Lots of feedback came pouring in. My initial review wasn't very kind either. Cut to the scene where Bellroy now introduces a new and improved version. This is version 2. Fixes have been made apparently. But what has really changed, and if so, did it actually improve the wallet?
You don't compare.
You might remember from my original review of the Flip Case, which you can see up here in the corner, I was a bit disappointed. Let's start out with a little bit of the wallet. This is version 2, and we'll talk about it. So this is designed in Australia, made in India. It's a slim, molded, hard shell design, as you're aware, and it's got a 2-magnet section close. One on the front for quick access, one on the back for archive. It is made from premium Eco-Tan leather that's on the outside over this shell, which is a molded plastic from 100% recycled plastic bottles. And you can tell that the interior lining, it is plastic all the way through. This provides RFID protection, and why not? This is priced for $89. Now, if we look at both of these together, this is version 1 and 2. I have them in the shipping box for one reason, to show you that the original, this is version 1, version 2, up to 8 cards and folded bills. This is up to 8 cards or 7 cards plus folded bills. They get very specific in version 2 because it's all part of the description in what they're trying to portray in the changes that were made. Now, if we pull both of these out and set this packaging aside, now I'm not going to touch on the fiddliness about getting into these wallets, we'll do that later, but look at the design. The design is not changed. It is exactly the same. On the exterior, all the dimensions are the same. Access methods, they look exactly the same. There is no change. All of the changes occur on the interior. And I understand that because they're not trying to create a brand new wallet. They're trying to improve on what they already shipped, and this was their brand new wallet. So let's open these up. I pulled out the inserts. We'll refer to these because there is specificity that's important. If we look at the quick access card, what do we see that's different here? Well, it's obviously missing over on version 2, this microfiber lining that we have here. It is now just plastic and hard plastic at that. Let's look at the rear. If we look at the rear, same kind of concept. We're missing in version 2, the microfiber lining we see over here, and this divider section right here that's flexible. It is very low. It's not as high, but it's still existent in version 2. This is a usability thing, which we'll talk about. What this means is that with version 2, cards that are placed in here will now begin to rub against the plastic. That's fine, because cards are there to be used, not meticulously managed, but if you care about those things, then yes, cards that are against this plastic will have more of a rough surface to deal with. But we still have this microfiber on the exterior of the flaps on both sections. So now let's focus on this middle section. This is where all that magic and the changes that they put together really come into play. And it has everything to do with the center section and the changes we just talked about. So if we come to the front here, on version 1, we removed the microfiber. And if you measure this, the width of this, the thickness, I should say, the thickness, this is 1.8 millimeters thick. If we come to what has changed with the version 2, the thickness here is now 0.9 millimeters. That is a savings of almost 1 millimeter in the thickness of the center divider that we have between version 1 and version 2. Now, if we look at a non-embossed card, this is 0.7 millimeter in thickness. If we look at an embossed card itself, this is 1.07 millimeter in thickness. So what you gain in the changes from version 1 to version 2 is essentially the thickness of one complete card. So did any of these nick and tuck surgeries do anything for card and cash capacity? Well, based on what we just discovered, I think it will, but let's see how much. Now we're going to come to the help cards. This is from version 1. Version 1 was a single piece of help card. There's nothing else to it, and it's very explicit. Up to 8 cards, 2 storage sections, RFID protected. If we go to the new version 2, the front of this has the exact same instruction. 8 cards, 2 storage sections, but when we open this up, they're being very explicit now on the front section. This is your quick access, up to 2 cards. And on the back section, up to 5 cards and folded bills or 1 extra card. That gets you the 6 plus 2, that gets you the 8. So both of them advertised up to 8 cards. It never materialized here. It just didn't. Now, with the added space they provided due to the reduction in the thickness of that intersection, let's see how cards placed in each of these pan out. First of all, we'll take 2 non-embossed cards for version 1. Let's see how these fit. So if we want to just put them in nicely, this just drops in really well. If we try and put in the second card, it doesn't. We have a bit of friction going on here, and we will get it in. And it's not terrible, but it doesn't just drop in like the first card. Let's take this and look at version 2. We take this first card and it just drops in nicely. You hear that nice click at the bottom? We take the second card and guess what? It just drops in just as nicely. A lot of space. This works very, very well. Well, what about the back? Well, let's get into the 5-card space here. We're going non-embossed. We've got a full 6 cards here. So with the 2 in front, that would make us 8. All right, we take these and we drop these in. That drops in nice. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, and well, let's get the 5 in there. And those are fitting just nicely. We get to the 6th card and it's a struggle. It's a struggle, and you have to push to get that in. At that point, access to the card becomes a little difficult to get to. You've got to pull this out to get your thumb and gain access to it. Not really convenient from that angle. And of course, we have some issues closing unless these are all lined up, and there we go. All right, what about version 2? We have our 6 unembossed cards. We will open up the rear of this, and I'm not even going to put them in individually. Look how they all just drop in without any concern. No problem. Slide in. Hear that sound. No problem. That is what the magic of 1 millimeter of extra space can provide you in how cards function in version 2. We know the world of credit cards aren't all flat, so let's see how this works with embossed cards. The ones with raised letters and numbers. Embossed cards, we have 2. Let's go for the version 1 wallet. 2 in the front, nice. Second one, not really. That is a struggle, that's a challenge, and you really have to push to make it fit. That's very uncomfortable. Let's take this over to version 2. Let's pull out these non-embossed. We'll get our embossed. Ooh, that drops in, and guess what? This drops in nicely too. A little bit of friction, but nothing like version 1. Very manageable here. Well, let's flip these over and let's see what the back section has. 6 embossed cards. We know this is going to be a struggle. Let's start with version 1. We'll throw, and I'm going to take the 6th card out. Let's see if we can get 5 in here. And 5 works. And let's see if we can get the 6th in here. Okay, that's a real struggle to get that there. You'll really struggle. So 5, plus you can get the 2 in here, so that's not bad. So you're just short 1, but again, that flies in the face of 8 cards without using cash. Now let's try these 6 with version 2 in the back. Let's take out the non-embossed, which fit just fine, and voila, looky here. These 6 fit in without a problem. Not as loose as non-embossed, but you know what? It fits. And so with that, we have cards that work very well in version 2, as you would have expected in version 1, but didn't get. Now let's look at usability. Let's briefly look at it, not the external, but the internal based on the changes. As you see me work with both wallets, there is a clear winner between these two, and it has to do with this additional divider. And if we pull this over, we look at what we have here, you can see because of the cards, the divider here in version 1 is really tall and it gets in the way of getting your cards out. They reduce the height here in version 2, and this makes it very simple to get your thumb in there. Otherwise, you're fighting to get under this to get to cards. Now this divider here and the divider that we see in version 2, this is where you'd put cash. Now I'm not going to go through the combination of cash and cards, but rest assured, if you include cash, your card capacity will decrease accordingly. The product description for both versions, version 1 and 2, now you can only see it in version 2, but they both said that they could indicate up to 8 cards capacity. And as we saw, version 2 finally delivers on that promise. The improvements they opted to provide were all on the inside, reducing bulk on the interior structure, thereby providing the advertised capacity and better fit for cards. But was that all that was needed? I think there are other problems, and they're still glaring, which I addressed in the initial review, which I suggest that you watch here. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you in the next review. Bye.